Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us. So we have a 30-minute yoga practice to enjoy this morning. We'll begin as we normally do in our seated position to allow ourselves a little bit of time to check in with the body and the breath and the mind, and to set our intention for this morning's practice. So get comfy, close the eyes and tune in. Just feel down into your seat and find that element of softness as you kind of relax into this position. And then just locate that subtle element of strength as you find that lift. Tuning into the breath, maybe you begin to be aware of the space in the heart and the chest, between the shoulder blades, and crown of head to tailbone. Let's just take a couple of mindful breaths sitting here. As I read a little poem for you. I will leave yoga class rested and still, in touch with my breath, my heart open, thankful I'm alive. Breathing in, I am a mountain, a rock, a tree, firmly grounded in my inner essence. Breathing out, I am a flower, gentle, sweet and tender. I wish no harm on any living thing. My gift to the world is a peaceful heart, and I give it now, in this moment, all that ever is and all that will ever be. So as we move through our practice today, we're going to see if we can just catch hold of a couple of those references in the poem about feeling your inner essence, feeling grounded, and at the same time, tuning into that openness of the heart. Okay, so when you're ready, I'd like you to come onto your back. We're just going to warm up the body from here. So I just want you to draw your right knee in towards your chest. So your left knee can still be bent, or if you prefer, you can stretch that left leg away. See what feels best for you. And we're just going to soften into the stretch. And we're going to ease this knee across to the armpit. So there's a diagonal stretch. And then if it's accessible, we're going to bring our foot up. So we've got a foot that's parallel to the ceiling. So that knee's dropping down as far as is comfy. It might be that we have to hold the thigh if we can't quite reach the foot. We're going to breathe here. And then this this left leg here, if it isn't bent already, you're going to bend it. And then you're going to place your right ankle to rest on that knee. And you're going to move that right knee away from you. So keep this left foot flexed so that you're protecting your knee. And from here, we're going to either stay here for our stretch if that's strong, or we're going to clasp the thigh and just draw that left knee towards us, easing that right knee away. So that you should feel this in the right hip and the right glute, so that outer side of the right hip. And again, see if you can find that full open breath. Let's focus on the very center of our chest. I always find that helps to find that openness in the heart that the poem refers to. Good. We're going to drop that left foot to the earth. Open your arms out wide, palms open. And then take this right foot, so it's still resting on your knee. Just drop that right foot to the floor. So we're coming into a twist. Looking over to the right. And again, drop into the space, drop into the openness of the heart. And at the same time, feeling grounded. Yeah, we're firmly rooted in our essence. How lovely. Nice, guys. So we're coming up on a breath in. We're going to drop that right foot, coming into a neutral position of your choice. Either a full body stretch, a hugging in of knees, whatever feels good. And then we're going to prepare for that on the other side. So we hold that left knee in with the option to keep the right leg bent, or we might choose to stretch it away. See what feels good. Really drawing that knee towards you and then easing it over to the left as though you're trying to get the knee to touch the armpit. So it's a slightly different sensation in that stretch. And from here, we try to hold on to the foot. If we can't reach the foot, we hold the thigh. And again, we're drawing that right knee down towards the floor. This is your half contented baby pose. Take a few full breaths. Relax into wherever you're feeling this stretch. And then we're going to bring this right knee so it's bent if it isn't already. Take your left ankle to right knee, flexing into that left foot. Imagining we're trying to press that left knee away to feel a stretch. If we need more, we grab that thigh and draw the right leg towards us. Just make sure your head's still rested on the earth. So you could pop something underneath it if it's not. Breathe into this stretch, probably feeling something around about here. So we're going to bring the right foot to the floor, open up those arms, the left foot stays where it is. And then we just take that foot to the floor. So dropping over to the right, looking over to the left, into your twist. Really lovely warm up there, getting into all kinds of shapes. And we haven't even got off the floor yet. Nice. On the breath in, we're coming up. This time, see if you can grab both feet and draw the knees towards your armpit. So this is the full contented baby pose. We're looking for the back of the head to be connected to the floor, chin tucked. And the sacrum is pressing down. Try to resist the sort of being lifted away from the floor and ground down into the earth. Fabulous. Scooch the knees together, but this time hands underneath the knees. Curl your chin up. Use your lower legs to create a little bit of momentum. Just rock back and forth a couple of times. Feel that tummy curling in. And then we're going to pop all the way up to seated, toes and feet on the floor, hands still behind your knees, spine nice and long, preparing for boat pose. So you're either going to stay here for boat. You might choose to extend your arms. Perhaps you're going to keep your hands on your legs, but lift your feet. Maybe you're going to extend your arms. Maybe you're going to extend your legs. Nice. So we're coming back down to earth briefly. Soles of feet together. Grab your toes and just let your knees drop open. Sit tall. Bounce those knees. Because we're going to come back into our boat pose and we're going to hold our boat pose for 5 breaths. So choose your preferred boat. Feet together, knees together, deciding if legs are lifted or not, arms are extended or not. And let's hold 5, 4, 3. See if you can feel that lift in the heart. 2, 1. Good. Lower those feet, soles of the feet coming together. Lift up through the chest. Drop the knees towards the earth. Maybe leaning forwards a little bit if you feel you need more stretch. Good. So from here, we're coming back to upright. We're scooping the knees back in. And I'd like you to come all the way up to standing from here. Make your way to the very back of your mat. We're going to take a step forwards. Right foot is going to come forwards. We're coming into warrior 1. So we have a bend in the right knee. The left leg is straight. The hips are facing forward. So just check in with your balance. And then make a sword. So palms touching, fingers pointing to the earth, elbows squeezing in. And we're going to raise our sword up as we breathe in. And then if at any point those arms or shoulders aren't comfortable, you can release your sword and take a wider warrior 1. So your arms can be parallel to each other. See what feels best, and we'll hold it for 5. Good. These arms are going to reach out and back, scooping behind us. and then they're coming back up. But this time, we're going to come forwards. So we're going to reach forward. So if you've got any niggles in your lower back, your option might be to bring your arms lower. So bring them behind you or by your sides. And then we're going to come into warrior three if you wish. You can either hold where you were or come into a warrior three. And again, arms can be extended. That's the hardest version of warrior. You might bring them to your heart. You might bring them by your side. If you're super wobbly, you might bring them to the floor. And that's where we're going to end up. Fingers onto the floor and fold into a forward fold, keeping that left leg lifted. So this would be your half split pose. Hold it here. Find the breath. And then come into a half lift. So lift the head and heart. And as you breathe out, this back foot is going to come down next to the front leg. And then you're really going to drop into your full forward fold. Take a breath. Strong through those legs. We're going to sweep up, strong through the spine as we lift the arms out and wide. Palms touching above our heads. Draw the hands down. Take them to your heart. And then just take a few steps back. So we're coming back to the back of our mat. And we're going to take a step forwards with the left foot. Warrior one, left side, back heel is planted firmly on the earth. Hips are square. Palms touch. Let's raise our sword. Remember, you can let your sword open out. If your shoulders are tight, I'm going to hold it for 5. Beautiful. Our arms reach out and back, and we scoop them forwards, and we bow down. Remember, those arms might stay extended. Perhaps they're going to come by your side. And then we move into our warrior three. Choose where those arms need to be. And then the hands come to the earth, keeping that right leg lifting away. Half split pose, so bow your head down. It's a standing forward fold with one leg raised. Inhale, lift head, lift heart, open up. And on your breath out, drop that foot and drop the head back down. Sweep up on your breath in, lifting up, 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 palms touch. And exhale, hands down to the heart. Nice. We're going to take that to the back of the mat. And with our little intention, inspired by that poem and this idea that yoga helps us to move away from anxiety and fear and worry and sort of outside distractedness, and it helps move us in towards oneness. Here we go. Got a little story, a little journey. So that first step forward is us stepping into our truth. So step forwards. You might like to say inside, may I step into my truth. Let's find our sword and let's lift it up. Good. So this sweeping back and down is us gathering the essence of who we are. So take that forwards and up. So you've gathered the essence of who we are into our hands. And so when we come to step forwards or lean forwards, so you're either coming into warrior one or holding here, we're sending forth our truth. Good. So as we bow down, coming into your standing splits, we bring peace to our minds. So any forward folds are an opportunity for a bit of introspection. Good. As you lift your head, choosing our actions. And then that foot comes down and we come down into our forward fold. And this is where we set the intention to focus on what is right and train our minds to be still. Coming up now to go forth with compassion, love, understanding, and forgiveness. Lift it up. Forever holding them in our hearts. So draw them all down into your hearts. Pause for a moment here. Drop those hands and just step back to the back of your mat. And we'll repeat that one last time on the other side. So as we step that left foot forward into our warrior one, that is mainly travel, our true path. Let's lift those arms up. Nice. So as we reach those arms out and back, that's us gathering the essence of who we are. Gather it up. So that when we go forth in the world, we take our truth, we send our truth forth into the world. Coming into your warrior three or variation of. And as we bow down, we vow to bring peace to our minds. And as we lift the head, we vow to choose our actions. And then we bring ourselves into our forward fold here. Focus on what is right and train our minds to be still. Love the opportunity to take a few mindful breaths here in your forward fold. So that when we go forth with compassion, love, understanding, and forgiveness. Sweep those arms up. And forever holding that in our hearts. So drawing the hands down and just pausing here. Beautiful, guys. We're taking the feet a little wider, toes to the edge of the mat, heels turned in. And we're simply going to drop down into our squat, all the way to the earth. And we're going to take our seats on our mats. Really beautiful. So just sitting tall for a moment. Back in the position you were when you began. Aligning the body to the breath and the mind. So you're tuning all three to work in harmony together. And as we sit, we find the firmly grounding qualities of the rock, of the tree, of the mountain. Feeling firmly grounded in our inner essence. I'd like you now to just take your feet together, just like we did earlier on, but this time moving the feet away from you so that you can bring your hands underneath and hold onto your feet here and just allow the head to bow down. So softening into the pose and referring back to our poem, breathing out. I am a flower, gentle, sweet, and tender. I wish no harm to any living thing. So as we really feel ourselves bowing down into this pose, there's a lovely sense of surrender, of softening, of humbling. We come in peace. We're going to slowly come back up to upright. Gather the knees in and swing yourself round so that you come to lying down on your backs. Where we're going to come into bridge pose. So arrange it so your feet are hip width distance apart and they just sit underneath your knees. They're quite close to the body. Hands down by your sides. I want you to connect into the shoulder blades, press them into the floor, hands down, feet down. You can feel the tummy muscles kicking in there. Back of the neck is long. And we're going to lift those hips up. Just press them up away from the floor. We're holding it here. If it feels accessible, we might clasp the hands underneath us and then wiggle them towards each other. So you've got straight arms. It just gives you a little bit more height. I'm going to hold this pose for 5, We're releasing those arms and slowly lowering down. And just take a little moment to counter pose, maybe a little hugging in of those knees, a little rock. Okay, so you're either going to repeat that pose, or I'm going to talk you through a half shoulder stand. So if you're not shoulder standing with me now, I just want you to come back to bridge, hold it for 5 breaths, and then come on down, and hopefully we'll all finish at the same time. If you're coming into shoulder stand, extend those legs, feet flexed, arms down your side, palms facing in, imagining for a moment that perhaps you're standing guard, you're a soldier. That really intense sort of awareness, alertness to the body. Press those shoulder blades into the floor. That's where you're connecting to the floor in your shoulder stand and the back of the middle of your head. So to get into our shoulder stand, what we're going to do is lift the knees. And just like we did when we rocked along the floor to come up to seated, we're going to see if we can find a bit of momentum. So the knees just hug in. Perhaps even if you've never done shoulder stand before, you could have a little play with the prep. And at some point, it might be possible to grab hold of those or support the hips, the back there with your hands. Ideally, you want your fingers to be pointing upwards to the sky. And what we're looking for is for our feet to come into line over our hips. And we just stare up at our toes, so we don't look around. We keep the neck straight, and we might hold it here for 5 breaths. Pressing into the shoulder blades. You'll feel some weight coming into your elbows. Try and lift away from the earth. Good, guys. So we're going to come out of this pose by letting the feet drop back a little bit. So the weight's gone behind me, which allows me to be able to release my back, press my hands onto the floor as though they're brakes. So when I come down, it's slow and it's controlled. Maybe the legs stay straight for a little tummy challenge, or you can bend the knees and slowly lower to the floor when you're ready. Nice. Lift those arms up and over your head. And on your out breath, let's drop into wherever you feel is going to be suitable for you for rest. So if you need to wiggle in any last way, any little stretches or hugging in of knees, yogi's choice. Otherwise, join me now. Closing the eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose and let the breath escape out through the mouth. Just feel that support from the ground, perhaps tuning back into the essence of who you are, feeling firmly grounded. From this lovely place, can you then bring awareness to the openness of your heart? And one moment at a time, just allow yourself to drop deeper and deeper into rest. I will leave yoga class rested and still, in touch with my breath, my heart open, thankful I'm alive. Breathing in, I am a mountain, a rock, a tree, firmly grounded in my inner essence. Breathing out, I am a flower, gentle, sweet and tender. I wish no harm on any living thing. My gift to the world is a peaceful heart, and I give it now, in this moment, all that ever is and all that will ever be. Poem there by John Mundar. Allow yourself to completely rest. If the mind wanders, just bring awareness back to breathing. Just allow yourself the opportunity to release, or at least to move away from the outside distractions. So move towards that wonderful sense of oneness, feeling whole, feeling connected. Let your awareness drop into the very center of your chest. It's known in yoga as the yogic heart space. And just start to be aware now of breath, the movement here in your heart as you breathe. Maybe feeling as though that warmth, the love, the joy, the contentedness, whatever you benefit, whatever you get from your yoga, just feel it flushing the body as you breathe. And then just reaching out towards fingers and toes. And the ankles and wrists might start to circle. And then take a full body stretch, lifting arms up and over the head. And on your out breath, hugging your knees into your chest. And when you're ready, bringing yourself to seated. Letting your hands rest on the floor beside you, sitting nice and tall. On your breath in, lift the arms up, arms touch above the head. Exhaling, draw the hands to your heart. Bow the head. Namaste. Thank you.